Andrew Smith joins us, standing in Garff, and this is your third time.
Third time, yes.
A general election and a by-election, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. The by-election against Steve Rowan in 1995, and then obviously the last general election 2016. Determined
and committed, I mean, that's something. So
yeah,
what brings you back again then?
I am, because I believe that I've still got a lot to offer to Garff. Obviously been totally committed since I arrived on the island in 1986. Thrown myself into the community, organising Laxey Fair, and then, as I say, interested in the commissioners. I went through all those years, and then, as I said, stood in the by-election, which was a baptism of fire, you would say, and then still passionate about it. 2016, and then obviously since then, major flooding incident, Laxey. I had to organise.
You're on that, aren't you? You got a committee or something?
I actually founded the Laxey, the Garff Flood Action Association, because I'd been flooded 3 times: 2002, 2016, and then 2019.
So for Laxey, anyway, that's the big ticket number, is it?
That is the big thing for Laxey, obviously, because people are still suffering with increased insurance premiums and also restrictions on their policies.
But things have been done so far, and there's going to be more seawall.
More done and things like that. So once we get finalised, but obviously it's like if you crash your car, if you only have half the repair done, then the insurance company assessor won't come in and say, yeah, everything's fine. He needs to see the complete job before he can then review it. So that's where we are with insurance.
Yeah. If you got in then, have you got other ideas besides what's already being done then?
Yeah, well, we have got other eyes. Ongoing maintenance is a major thing, because that's really part of the problem with flooding throughout Garff. And the thing is that I don't want to sound people that I'm because I'm not Laxey centric.
I know, but
I'm lived there. That was a major issue. But other issues in Garff also. I've helped with Hibernia, Dreamscary Road, the junction with Jack's Lane. So I've also, the group has also offered their expertise in working with the DI in those areas as well.
So is this what you're hearing on the doorstep? Or I mean, you're telling them these things?
Obviously they're interested to speak to me, and I'm interested to speak to them if flooding is one of the major issues, but there are other issues on the doorstep as well. So yeah.
Give me some.
Well, obviously rising, spiralling costs on projects such as Promenade, Liverpool landing stage, etc., etc. Still a concern that, despite we've talked about restructuring government, which I think we talked about in Alan Bell's day, right? And they're still talking about, and I think, well, yeah, every time you restructure government, it's a cost. Yeah. And the thing is that the sitting MHKs that are talking about restructuring government have been in government and have still not been able to grapple with the issues.
Yeah. Remind me, is it accountancy your sort of thing? Yes. So you're used to doing figures then?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I worked in Treasury.
Oh, that's right.
And obviously we go way back to the Global Challenge days.
So, I mean, therefore you take a great interest in balancing books, I'm taking it.
Yeah, and accountability, but more than that, governance. Yeah. It's all right. You can set the budget, and obviously Treasury sets the budget for people, and then you've got accountability for people to actually carry that through. But then it's actually governing also that budget to ensure things are progressed as you wish.
Let's talk about national issues then, because you mentioned the prom and the Liverpool landing stage, things that seem to be out of control to some people. I'm sure others say it's all right, but I mean, would you have done things differently?
Well, I think
can you do things differently in the future?
You would like to think so. The thing is that obviously I've worked in Treasury. I understand how things should work, but it just seems in this particular administration that things have gone awry, and I don't know why. There still seems a silo mentality, which I thought we should all be shoulder to the wheel, sorting out the island's issues and all working towards a better future for us existing and our children.
But you've been inside that, as you say, in government. You've seen it from the inside.
I've seen it from the inside.
I mean, everyone says this. And
yes,
could you change it?
Did we not change it in the days when I was inside? Would you not suggest that Sir Miles Walker and Donald Gelling did a good job in their day?
It's not for me to even talk about that. It's for you to talk about.
But I was there shaping that government.
So things have gone awry. What do you think this last 5 years then?
Well,
as a government,
I think it's difficult. There seems to be this disconnect. There's some disconnect between political will and actually carrying out what the people wish.
And what would you like to do if you got in nationally wise? Things which will no doubt cost money. You've got to budget it. Any grand plans?
No, I've no grand plans, because I say let's look where we are now. Obviously, we've still got things in motion that we've got to finance. and finances are critical. Obviously, we're critical at the moment because there's only so much left in reserves. We've had to spend a lot of COVID, understandably. They're looking to loan and things like that. Sadly, we don't have our AAA rating anymore as a jurisdiction. We had that both from Standard & Poor's and Moody's, which obviously we've got a lesser rating.
We are fixed in the UK to some degree on that, aren't we?
To a certain extent, but we did have it in our own right. We did manage to get that as a jurisdiction because of our prudence and well regulation. Now, unfortunately, we've slipped that mantle slipped slightly from our head. But so there's a lot of challenge to do. And I say to anything before, if you don't get the finance right, you can't fund anything.
So this needs people to work in the economy. Have you got ideas on the job creations and different things to look at?
It's easy to talk about job creation. You can create jobs within the community that you have, but if you have to introduce people into the island for that job creation, we've got the housing issue that they can't afford to buy. So we've got a dichotomy to saying we need more people here to generate income in the economy through ITIP, etc. We also want to welcome, as you know, during my time, I used to search out businesses to physically. We want mind and management here.
What's the answer to this, here. I mean, you just said it yourself. You get more people in, that pushes the price of the house up because of the supply and demand issue.
So I think it's a case of balancing the. I think we've got to look at the taxation system here, corporate tax, and I think that's already been mooted by Graham Cragine.
Right.
In the current administration
corporate tax, more of it.
More to 10% possibly, a 10% rate.
The 0-10 thing is also under threat.
Under threat because of the threat of the.
So where would you be?
G715.
Putting up taxes here.
I would think corporate tax, not personal. Corporate tax.
But isn't that the whole thing? I mean, we have a long discussion. I don't get too bogged down in it, but the reason they're here is because they're paying low tax or no tax.
But across the world, major corporates, to have their head office and minor management, need to pay tax and want to pay tax. And 10% is very, very advantageous vis-a-vis other offshore entities.
So you get in. If you get in, you're going to work with inside government. You want to be part of the team.
I'm happy to work wherever I'm placed, wherever I think I've got the best.
What's your skill set, though? I'm always asking that.
Well,
obviously, you could say Treasury.
You could say Treasury.
Or
on the other
DFE.
hand, obviously, I've been involved in construction whilst I've been on the Isle of Man. I built bungalows at Slewkern in Kirkmichael. Okay. I've also studied at Bishop Burton Agricultural College, so I could also fit agriculture.
Where would you like to go then? if you had the choice.
If I had a choice, possibly. I mean, DOI. I mean, all the work I've been doing with flooding and stuff, I would happily, give some of my technical, although it might only be say, well, it's not really, you're not highfalutin, but basic common sense technical issues regarding DOI plus the financial expertise, a good mix, I believe. But as I say, wherever they think I'm best placed, but rest assured, and I say this to people on the door, I am not canvassing them today for a vote. If I'm successful, I'll be canvassing them throughout the period, and this is something that's been highlighted to me on every doorstep. They had someone round for a vote, and they've never seen anybody since.
What would you do? I mean, people always start with good intentions.
No, I've made this, and this is not a political pie crust comment. I've said it in public. Yeah. I will continue canvassing those people within Garff on a regular basis to ensure that part of what their views are can be channeled through an MHK to make policy.
But consensus is so difficult. I mean, I'm sure people want the borders open, people want the borders shut. You must be getting everything on the. It's hard.
You do, but then you have to go with a majority.
Okay.
In fairness,
so you will go with the majority, not what you think yourself. Then you will be pulled by your.
Because how can you represent the people if you're not in contact with them and represent the people?
You wouldn't go back for every individual thing, would you?
No. I'm not saying that, because otherwise they've devolved by voting for someone. They're giving them that power, but there still needs to be ongoing interaction and dialogue. That I believe that's critical.
And you can make a difference. You're thinking you can. Get these silos sorted out and all that sort of thing.
I believe I can. And the other reason why I think it's important to knock on the door and not just push a leaflet through and run away is because people then know you're personable, you've got a good interaction, and they say, great, we can have a conversation with you, down to earth, let's get something done.
So would you see yourself being a minister at some point if you were offered that?
If that is the...
You'd want to lead from the top?
I would, if that's
and who would you like as your leader? Picking somebody that's presumably already in, but it could be anyone.
It could be anyone, and I've said already on a previous interview, so it's in the public domain. Obviously, any time we assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. We understand that, and I've said that I believe we need to have some continuity as well as new members, and we're bound to have new members there. So I would like to see something like David Ashford has intimated he doesn't want to stand as chief.
Definitely said he doesn't want to stand, but that's
but it
what
was
he says.
Good for health. Yeah, it's
I mean, you never know.
We don't know, so we're assuming again.
Right.
Assuming. So if he stayed in health, fine for me. I think he's done a marvellous job.
Minister.
Alf Cannon would be good to remain in Treasury, I believe.
Leave him there.
I believe, because he's done a good job.
Right.
But I'm thinking that Chris Thomas is a possibility because of what I've seen when he was in Policy and Resources. I was impressed. But it's all down to their manifesto.
But you give me some names there. That's good. So that's just sort of runners and riders that you like.
That's kind of my thinking behind it. My thinking behind it. Yes.